Hi all, for today you guys are with me, Christopher Garry Jawa and Basina FM. For today also, we will discuss and elaborate about our mainly topic, which is one of development theory on this session. Development theory that we will talking about is about modernization topic. So for this topic session, I will introduce our five guests from University Malaysia Sarawak who will be with me in discuss and elaborate this modernization topic. Can you introduce yourself to each other because our radio listener want to know by name of you. Please welcome.
Thank you for inviting. I'm the first guest. My name is Wong Sie Ngie.
Hello, I'm Urumila.
I'm the third guest. My name is Yohanes Japang. Thank you for inviting me.
Hi, I'm a fourth guest. My name is Agnes Anak Peri. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm the last guest. My name is Winnie Francis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for being introduced yourself to our audience. So for this modernization topic, I will explain a little bit about it. So modernization is about in sociology what's the transformation from a traditional rural, urban and industrial society. Modern society is industrial society. So historically, the rise of modern society has been connection between them are extremely close with the emergence of industrial society. All the future that are associated with modernity can be shown to be related to the set of change that some 250 years ago brought into being the industrial type of society. This suggests that the term industrialism and industrial society imply far more than the economic and technological component that make up in their core. Industrialism is a way of life that encompasses profound economic, social, political, and cultural change. It is by undergoing the comprehensive transformation of industrialization that societies become modern. Modernization also is a continuous and open-ended process. The span of over time, which is has occurred, must be measured in centuries, although there are examples of accelerated modernization. In either case, modernization is not a once and for all time achievement. There seems to be a dynamic principle built into the very fabric of modern society that does not allow them to settle or to achieve equilibrium. Their development also is always irregular and uneven. Such a condition is not confined to the internal development of individual states. It can be seen on a global scale as modernization extends outward from its original Western base to texts in the whole world. And that was my opinion about what is modernization look like. So I will ask for our first quest about more detail about what is modernization topic is look like. So for our first quest, Miss Wong, what is the basic principle for this theory? Can you explain more about it?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Garry, for inviting to speak about basic principle for this theory. First of all, basic principle for this theory is social progress. So for this social progress is capacity of a society to meet the basic human needs of its citizens, establish the building blocks that allow citizens and community to enhance and sustain this quality of their life and create the condition for all individuals to reach their full periods. For the example is an education system, then there were causing change in modern society is raised in urban areas, delaying both marriage and children. So for the others is economic development, which mean about programs, policies, or activities that seek to improve the economy, well-being, and quality of life for a community. Because in this economy in Japan is a highly developed free market economy. For the example is economic development in Japan begins to produce more products and increase its all overall wealth agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism. For the last principles that we all know is democratic, or we can call secular political structure, which Japan is considered a constitutional monarchy with a system of civil law. And yes, that's what I think, Mr. Garry.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wong. That was a great point there about what is basic principle for this modernization. Okay, for the next point, I will invite Miss Urumila to explain about what, in your opinion, about this modernization theory and where it can be found in this Japan country. Can you explain it for more detail?
Thank you, Mr. Gary. Yeah, sure. Okay. Japan can be said as an example of the theory of modernization. Some people think that Japan has led uh, Western countries in modernization. The theory of modernization is determined from the observation of a country's democracy, liberalization, and development of the country, which is stated by Ms. Wong just now. From what we know, the issue of global supply chain, rising labor cost, and political issue have been proof the Japan's dependence in China's as the basis of its manufacturing investment. Japan's social hierarchy is under tension, and at the same time suffering a lack of labor due to the low birth population and aging rate, which also led to which also had affect the Japan's demographic problems. Since the 1970s, birth rate in Japan has decreased. This means that the number of young people entering the labor force is low and lead to a decrease in potential productivity of the country. The shortage of young people in the country combined with the very long life expectancy creates a bad dependence rate. As a result, the Social Security Fund is low, in which the Japanese government must cover for it. For example, an estimate of 2022 allocated 660 billion yen to deficiency in a Social Security Fund from an initial estimate of 480 billion yen. This deficiency is protected by debt insurance, and Japan's debt is now at 266% of the GDP, which is the highest ratio in the world. As a consequence of these problems, Japan also faces the challenges in cycle and structure. The challenge in the cycle is the congestion of the global supply chain and the labor market shift, which continues to put the pressure on the economy for repair of the global recession. Structural challenges are associated with the 3 decades economic backings, associated with the breakdown of the double asset in 1990s, and a decrease in birth rates, which creates the labor deficiency and unprofitable dependency ratios. That's all, Mr. Gary.
Okay, thank you, Miss Urmila, for your explanation about what is modernization theory is about and where it can be found in Japan country. So, for the next quest, I will ask Mr. Yohanes about what is your opinion about are displays or specific nature and characteristics as we talking before, which is we have been mentioned Japan country on this modernization theory issue shall be made clear. Please welcome.
Okay. First of all, thank you for inviting me. In my opinion, as already said, this issue is related to development theory, which is modernization theory. Japan is a developed country in terms of technology and national development. In the theory of modernization, it's referred to approach in understanding the process of modernization in all aspects, including the development of the community, population, people who staying in that place. So in Japan, it's very rapid process. It's very fast process of modernization after the Second World War. We can see the rapid development process in Japan, even though Japan has suffer from the effects of war, which is World War II. However, the progress of modernization of the Japan nation that has been achieved today also had a negative effect on themselves. So what we can see, for example, the problem in terms of population. In Japan, the problem becomes a problem where the Japan's country lacks of young people because of the birth control by the Japan's government. The lack of young people is considered as a big problem because the country workforce will be reduced in every sector, and because the sector the sector is linked link in every to the young worker, especially jobs that require a large and heavy workforce. For the sake of the future, I think the Japan's government must resolve this issue. Well, that is my opinion. Thank you, Mr. Gary, for asking.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yohanes, for the great point there. I expect that our listener understand what you're talking about. So, to the future and change our session, I would like to ask one of our guests as well, which is Mr. Agnes, about what are the strengths of this modernization theory in your opinion. Please welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Garry, for inviting me to share my opinion. In my opinion, the strength of this modernization theory that was practiced in the development of a country leads to the introduction of the use of technology in society. In short, this theory of modernization leads to the changes in the use of technology, especially in the agriculture-based economic sector. Initially, before the introduction of the use of technology as a result of the theory of modernization, most agriculture activities are carried out traditionally, that is, using labor from animals and humans only. This causes the products produced only enough to meet the daily needs of the family, and if the crop is a lot, also can be only marketed in the country. As we all know, agriculture activities that are only carried out traditionally will certainly not be able to meet the demand of the international market. However, the effect of this modernization theory, which led to the introduction of the use of technologies such as the use of harvesting machine that simplifies and speed up the rice harvesting process, indirectly increase the number of products that can meet the demands of international market. Therefore, the change from the use of this technology once gave a change to the academic sector, which carried only domestically to the international trade. Apart from that, modernization theory also leads to the provision of employment opportunities to the society. The introduction of advanced technologies will result in an increase in various types of employment opportunities for the community, such as being an employee in manufacturing sector, as an operator, The increased employment opportunities for the country will open up opportunities for them to improve their standard of living. Moreover, with the ability of high employment opportunities, the unemployment rate in the country can be lowered. So, the country per capita income can also be increased, which also allowed the country to provide more other social facilities such as the provision of specialist hospital facilities, school and universities for the society. And this kind of the facilities also from the modernization theory that's bring a lot of advanced technology and also a new information or skill that also need to be implemented in our next generation of the society. Uh, this is in order to make sure the development process of our country always moving in the line with the development of the world. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This was a great point from you, Miss Agnes. Just now we talked about the strength of this theory of modernization. Next, I will invite Miss Winnie to explain about what is the weakness of this modernization theory based on what are we talking about in this session. So, please welcome Miss Winnie for the explanation.
Thank you, Mr. Garry. In my opinion, there's a lot of negative impact by using the modernization theories. First, this theory creating dependency and exploitation of the poor. According to Wallenstein 1970, the core countries exploit the poor periphery countries. Another deficiency of modernization theories and the reason why it's not relevant to third world country is that the theory is criticized for failing to consider the poor as the centerpiece in poverty reduction initiative. By ignoring the involvement and participation of the target community, modernity achieved the marginalization of their commitment, creativity, and support of the intervention strategy. The intervention strategy became an impulse strategy and such a strategy failed to construct adequate notion of both the causal powers of social structure and the role of human agency in shaping social relations in general. Therefore, modernization theory also oversimplify view of social change. Human nature has a propensity to resist change in favor of the status quo, which is change it racist because it's bring in elements of uncertainty. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Winnie, for your great explanation about the weakness of this development theory. So, we have reached the end of this session. I hope that the listener understand and know what the information from our guests of honor have been conveyed. Once again, I would like to thank for our guests for being willing to come forward to provide some insightful and relevant information that can be provide knowledge to the listener on our topic this time, which is modernization. And that's all for today. I hope to see you guys in our next session. Thank you and have a good day, everyone. Bye bye.